this is kind of a fair commentary on modern games, right? Partially, games do now accept that there's going to be patches coming out, and there's always going to be a day zero patch. That just happens. It's actually good that it fixes problems that only arises when you finally, the metal hits the road, or rubber hits the road and metal hits something else. I don't know. But right, like it's just there's so many configurations of hardware on the PC side, or you're waiting for tools to come on, or you're waiting for the next update of something from either Xbox or Nvidia or AMD. Something's right. There's a lot going on, so that does happen. But there's a flip side to this, which is annoying to me. Is we launched the Anacrusis into early access because we wanted to work with the community. I was like, hey, I really want to do this thing in a way that early access was originally designed for. I mean, when we were back there talking about this at Valve, right, is having this resource and this super valuable design and feedback resource called the community. And I want to be able to put the game out there and have them give us feedback on it and build it and make it better. So we knew we were going to start rough and build better and better and better based on having feedback from the community. Problem is, sites like IGN and everything review it as a finished game. And you're like, dude, we're working on stuff. Of course it's not finished. That's the point of early access. And so, giving us this lousy review because we're an early access game is weird. And it hurts the industry long term because you can't then do these things with the community. So we think about like, hey, if we do the next game, how do we approach the community and how do we engage with them so that we get that level of feedback, but not get that overhead of launching out. So it's a mess right now, right? And the industry is always about technology, so that's always ever changing, and what people are trying to make is always changing, and how we're trying to make it and do it is always changing, and the business model is always changing. So there's always a lot changing, right? And unlike a movie, you just don't get it done once and just have to fake it for that and go. This, people rip it apart and tear it apart and try to break it. So yeah, it's a constant struggle, and it's a constant back and forth, and hope we find some balance. I really hope early access comes back, or some way of early access. There's super good success stories that are able to do it. Something like Rust, where Gary is very much like, this is what it is. You got to live with it. So that's a really good example. But there's, we didn't do that. Yeah, we're not a good example of early access. Not yet. We're getting there. But our launch was not, right? There was an understanding this was a more finished game than it was, versus, hey, this is a statement of where we want to start, and here we go. And that's my fault. We positioned it wrong, I guess.